282-0685. 617-282-0685.
What we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
I wish that I could freely dream and be judged from within, hunted by a power that cannot see past my skin. My views are viewed as ignorant, my truth always denied. My history is shrouded in a spider web of lies. Isn't this America? Or is this America all a lie?
Of the freedom of speech, somewhere I read. Of the freedom of press, somewhere I read. That the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
How can I pledge allegiance to a country built on lies?
Country built on lies. Woo, man, I tell you, timing is everything. Good morning. Welcome back to the final hour at the round table with MAMLEO. I'm your host, Larry Ellison, in studio with my brother from another. The doctor is in the house. Good morning, Dr. Bradley. How are you, sir?
I'm blessed and highly favored by the Lord, brother. I'm blessed and doing extremely well. God is good to me all the time.
To see. Did you get my text about the leaves in my yard if you're in the neighborhood?
Well, I pray for you, brother. Because that's all I can do. Right now, man, I am so sore. That's all I can do for you, brother.
I'm done with you,
I can pray for you because I am hurting. I told my wife, I said, girl, you working me like a Hebrew slave,
listen,
girl. I'm
bro,
hurting, girl. I'm hurting.
I give you all the I forgot about the shredder. That works pretty good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it works extremely well.
Yeah.
But you still got to work it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I was bending down, man, picking up leaves. I said to my bride, my wife is so good to me, man. God gave me her.
You and Bud,
she says she's out there with me, and she says, "Well, I'm younger. Let me do it. Your back is hurting. Let me do it." I go in the house, shower up. She come down and rub my back down real nice. I mean,
so it was worth it.
It was worth it. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I just turned 67, Doc. I'm still hurting. It doesn't. You don't.
Well, you don't look it, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But I feel it. You know what I mean? You don't heal as quickly.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah,
so it is what it is. But God has blessed me, and I'm so honored, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. Be right by Him. But it hurts.
So you have to check the weather. We'll get these comments. You have to check the weather and see which way the wind is blowing, and have it blow. Hopefully they blow.
Actually, I
towards your neighbor.
You missed a very good point, because I was kind of blowing my leaves into the little. I got a little a no man area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all this vegetation, I was blowing. And my wife was like, "Why are you blowing it in there? It's gonna just blow right back out." And I was like, "I have my reasons."
Right.
It's more physical, but I have my reasons.
Hello will be waiting. Special House, you had some comments there, sir?
Yeah, so Ken Russell once says good morning. He says good morning. From
Good
Washington,
morning.
D.C. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
El gusto es mío. The pleasure's all mine.
Oh, okay. Fancy.
Clifton Bennett. And Clifton Bennett is saying, where are the parents of these young people who
Amen.
tried to guide these young people in the
Amen.
right direction? Our schools are failing. Our societies are failing. Where are the leaders to guide us? What happened to all the after-school programs?
Well, you can have all the programs you want. They don't replace parenting. Right? Because we didn't have a lot of these programs when we were growing up, and we turned out okay. Not everyone, but because I knew that my mom was not going to tolerate that type of behavior. She did not have time to be running up to the school.
But in all fairness, though, Larry, your mom and my mom, or my older sister, or my siblings, did not have the governmental interference that these parents had.
That's true.
Because if I would have disciplined my kids the way that my daddy disciplined me,
might be eligible for parole.
I'll be eligible for parole now. But watch this now. But I don't smoke.
No.
or drink because of what he did when he caught me smoking and drinking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And now that I'm 67 years old, my doctor tells me you're in good health. You're doing okay. You don't have any plaque in your heart. Everything is good because I don't smoke. Well, I don't drink because of that. That spanking that he gave me.
Well, also, I don't know if it was in your house, but that soap did not taste too good.
No, it showed. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you didn't wash that mouth. Okay,
it didn't taste good.
There were remedies.
Yes, that kind of was everlasting. Stayed with you.
Very effective.
Stay with you.
Very effective.
I remember I was living on Browning Avenue back here in Dorchester, and my father caught me trying to mimic him. You know how you're standing up, you feel like someone is behind you, and I look up and there's my dad, and I'm trying to drink his corner of his liquor that he had, and smoke a butt of his cigarette, and all of a sudden my world literally turned upside down.
Yeah, it lit up.
It lit up.
so did you behind. Right.
But after that, and I had a conversation with him before he passed away, and I told him as a man, that was the best spanking you ever gave me. Because it saved my life. Right. Because the kids were, after the Superfly gig, that movie, kids started to drink and use drugs. And I wouldn't do it because I was afraid.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was afraid, and I can hear my father saying, I don't want you to have that habit.
He was right behind you.
He was right behind me.
Exactly. But this is what I'm saying, Dr. Belly. I'm standing in front of kids, and I can smell the weed in the cigarette on them. I can smell it. So you mean to tell me that your parents can't smell what I smell? So in the fact that you aren't even concerned with me, or you going to the school, like you would not go into a school in front of your teachers. You'd be trying to avoid them if you had done something wrong like that.
Please don't call my family.
Right.
But see, the thing is that, some people will say, well, that's child abuse, so on and so forth. Right. You know what? I tell you something, Scripture talks about sparing the rod. You know what I mean?
Spoil the child.
Spoil the child. But I'm telling you now, I think that parents today are restricted, unlike our parents are doing.
Well, the sad thing is that you can still discipline your child in that way.
Yeah.
The law doesn't prohibit it.
It doesn't prohibit. I don't understand that.
People think that they want the government to raise their child, and the government is not. They don't do a good job.
I remember one time when I was a police officer, I had a call to a place where a kid called me, and it was a 2-person call. 2 officers would go to respond to this house, and the father would not let the child in the house because he told the child to come in the house at 6 o'clock. The child came in at 6 o'clock the next morning.
No.
And the father was like, he's out of here. No. You know what I mean? And I was like, hey, listen, listen, what do you do with that?
Let me just piggyback on, and we'll bring Rhodes back in. It's a very similar call, right? Remember when, I don't know if when you came on, we were still doing first and last. And not the straight shifts.
Yeah, we were doing it.
So my partner and I, we were relatively young officers at the time. Matter of fact, Richie Greer and I were partners. We worked in Mattapan when there was no station there, right?
I remember Richie.
We get a call for a family trouble. Back then, you could deal with things a little differently.
Yeah.
But when
Curbstone counseling.
Exactly.
That's what it was. Okay.
We arrived there up in Mattapan. Now, it's getting late, so when we get the call, it's like 11 o'clock. We get off at 11:45. So, at that time, you're trying to
get out of there.
You're trying to get, because now we've got to drive all the way back down to Roxbury because there is no Mattapan station. So we work that area, but
home was
our base was Roxbury. Yeah. So, if you're a Mattapan car, around a certain time, you're trying to make your way so you can switch off with the people that are coming to relieve you for that next shift. And we had already done our overnight, so you're tired. You've only had a couple hours sleep because that 16 hours within 24 hours. Long story short, we pull up and there's a little young girl. She couldn't be, might be 15, 16 years old. And she's sitting on the wall. And we walk past her. We go upstairs and we knock on the door. The gentleman answers the door. And we're like, Boston Police. He's like, who? Boston Police. He opens the door and he's surprised to see us. But by this time, we noticed that the young girl has made her way up to the stairs with us as well. And now I'm looking at my partner. What's going on here? So she's like, and the father says, "Well, where you been?" And the girl says, so she had been out all night long and came home. She called the police because
he wouldn't let her in.
No. she didn't even had attempted to go in. She knew it was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
So she called to intervene. Now we are her escort,
you're
unbeknownst
escort.
to us, right? To get her in the house after being out all night long.
As if you're not going to leave. We're going.
Right. So we go in and we talking and you know, I said, well, what's going on? He's like, hey, she's been all night. Told her she'd come home. She's been out all night with this boy, whatever. I said, well, this is not a police matter, right?
No, it's not.
And I said, you know, we leave. So like I said, we're going back. So, you know, the rule of thumb is we're not clearing that call. We're trying to get down to the other end. The dispatcher calls us. He says, Bravo 106, are you guys still up at that call? I'm like, oh, man, we're going back up. In return, now the dad has instituted some discipline for her being out all night long, right? So we get back up there. We go back up there. Now it's after. Now it's 12 o'clock, right? Now we're pushing because it's been a long day. We walk back in, and my partner Richie, he's trying to be diplomatic with this whole thing. And I said, Rich, stop. I looked at that young girl. I said, wait a minute. You've been out all night long. You come home, you think your parents are going to be greeting you with a bouquet of flowers?
Exactly.
I said, listen, this is not a police matter. You're 16 years old. You will not pick that phone up again and call us for your inappropriate behavior. Yeah. I couldn't do that today.
Yeah, you know, you can't.
But that was the right thing to do. I can going in there taking a parent's responsibility from them for their child or raising their child and basically condoning her that it's okay for you to do that and we'll protect you for being out all night.
But that's a way of society actually trying to create a level of dysfunction within a certain demographics by actually taking away the responsibility of the parent.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it was a white situation, it would have been entirely different. So we have to think as people in a society that doesn't desire us, how the society is functioning to make sure that we're destructive among ourselves.
Oh, dysfunctioning. Rhodes, you back with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, okay.
And it's very interesting how you guys are like pointing this out. How it's like, again, two-tier system in regards to how people are allowed to discipline their kids.
Yeah, and I'm not advocating. I have raised 5 children, you know, and all of them are functioning, good, Lord-fearing, good citizens who are working hard doing their job.
Right.
But I tell you something, there were things, and I raised them with, you know, with their mom, with the first group and the second group with their mom. We had it was not a democracy in our home. It was a benevolent dictatorship,
right?
But it was not a democracy.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't walk into my house and say, this is what I want. No, Doc.
Right.
Until you actually forward the bill, you do the thing. In this house, this is how it's going to go. But what we did was try to teach structure, love for the Lord, respect your fellow people because that's where God resides. That's the temple. All right, and make some a productive, you know, contribution to society.
But this is why I think we were roommates because my house was the same way. It wasn't, you know, you didn't have any say in, you know, what was going to happen with them. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
I mean, the thing is that I think the level of choices that kids are given these days, it was like you're eating dinner. There was no question, oh, do you want dinner?
Right.
Dinner was on the table. The point was like,
exactly. Dinner was at 5 o'clock.
It wasn't like, what do you want to eat?
Right.
It was like, what
my mom said I'm not running she's not running a restaurant. Yeah. If you came in at 5:30, you didn't eat. You went to bed hungry. And nobody called child services. You know?
In my house, it was so many of us. You came in at 5:30. You was nothing to eat, right? You know what I mean? But go on.
But no. To that point, if I came, I knew the next day I was there at 5 o'clock. I was there before 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that's the point I'm making. Is that the message was loud and clear.
Yeah.
I was not running the show.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, it was wall to wall, treetop tall.
There you go.
This is exactly how it's going. This is how it's going to run.
And the parents in this are supposed to be the first teachers of the child.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like you said, they can't outsource it. You're the first.
They're advocating those rights.
That's where I'm going. This is the broader social hit that I have. When you have a situation where you have taken away the responsibility of the parent, made their family dysfunctional, either through incarceration policies, mass incarceration, war on drugs, or you have actually taken away the responsibility of discipline from the parent. Child services, using the police to remove the parent, put in the court, as my sister says on my phone, making the court involved in the parenting of the child. You create a generation of dysfunctional adults. Mm-hmm. That's what this is what's happening today.
This has been years in the making.
This has been years in the making. This is not just a phenomenon just to happen. This has been calculated. If I do this, I have a dysfunctional level of adults, and so therefore these adults are not going to be responsible for their generation. Right. Now I'm creating a generation of criminals. Right. I'm keeping them in that area where they were when they were enslaved.
Right, and every child has a behavioral issue. It's how you address it, right? There was no magic pills, right? No one took you to the hospital to get some pills, right, for your behavior. Yeah. Matter of fact, your parents got it. And children who did need that, like I said, they came in on a little small bus to the schools. And everyone treated them good. No one bothered them. They were in a classroom. People saw them respectful. Now, all of a sudden, because also it's profitable, right? There was a story several years back in where it really revealed to me about this SSI and people getting these checks when they reformed the welfare and they stopped allowing people to be rewarded for continuing to have children and that they couldn't afford to take care of. So one lady said that she figured out that, and she was passing this information along, that to replace that welfare check to get SSI, the quickest way to do it is to get your child on some type of medication. So now you have to go to the school and fight with the teachers to get them to sign off on this letter that says your child has a learning. And a lot of the teachers were saying, this isn't a learning behavior in the sense that this kid can't function. You're trying to capitalize. And I would see parents, we would get called to schools because parents were up there threatening the teachers because they wouldn't sign the letter so they can get this check. Now that meant if you wanted to speed it up, you had to get your kid on medication. Now you turn your kid into a druggie so you can get a $700 check. All right. So we're seeing more kids now because I'm like, is there something in the water that they're drinking today that we weren't drinking back then? Yeah. But what is making them dysfunctional in the lethargic is this medication.
But if you are a functional illiterate, and now you're living in a highly informational age. Yeah. How can you function to provide, to replace that $700 check to provide? So now you're talking about a point of survival. Right. Because in the past, during your childhood, your parents were manipulated in such a way that they could not discipline you so that you will not become a functional illiterate, so that you can provide. But you did not do it. Now you have to rely on the state. Right. So now the state is taking that away. So what do I need to do? Because we're talking about survival, Jack. We're not talking. So if I have to sacrifice my child, some people would say I will sacrifice my child
rather than getting a job.
Yeah. Other folks would say, well, I go to McDonald's and mop floors. I'm not going to do it. So the next generation. So what we have to start thinking about is, we as a people, how do we actually make sure that the family unit is intact and intact in such a way that it's producing functional people for the future generations?
I will harp on the point that you're saying right there, but unfortunately with the society that we are in right now, Chris Rock said it, a guy getting out of prison gets more respect than a guy with a PhD on the street.
Whoa! Now I have a PhD. Wait a second. Explain that one to me, because I'm lost there.
What he's saying is they look up more to the guy that just got out of prison.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, I believe you. Me, I would rather have a PhD than shred.
But we've been structured and conditioned that is a badge of honor,
and not the PhD.
No, exactly. No.
Do you know you have to go through to get a PhD, man? That's not an easy task. I'm not saying because I have it. I have gone through it.
Just functioning and getting and being a productive member of society is difficult. So I can only imagine the PhD. But the fact that we've been conditioned that is not an honorable, just like today, being a police officer, being a black police, it's not considered an honorable profession. You're a sellout.
You're a sellout. Yeah, I got that. Because of the history, I got it. But the thing is that how do we get back to a point where we now see that the family unit, because is valuable, it's very important to have a family unit that can produce children that's going to be functioning.
So go ahead.
Citizens of society.
Here's my sad commentary to what you're saying, mother. Sadly, we are generations from getting back because we've lost our way. Right? I know you didn't want to hear that.
No, I didn't want to hear that.
But I see your expression. I know you well enough to say, you know what? My brother's probably right, because it's not going to happen anytime soon. Right? She just joining us, Sister Priscilla, who's sick and tired of being sick and tired. Right?
Sister Priscilla, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm blessed.
This is what I love about our broadcast. Folks just come in.
Come right on in. Have a seat. And looking good, too.
I know, open to the public. Open to the family.
Looking good, smelling good, acting good, smiling good. It's a round table.
Yeah, she always talking about chicken and waffles, but I don't think she brought any. But you got any chicken and waffles?
I got no chicken and waffles.
It's not an illegal search.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on now. You don't have reasonable suspicion, Doc. You can't.
I don't. It smells like chicken. Good morning, my sister. How are you?
I'm good.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
Good to be seen.
Yes. He was whistling at you. Go ahead. Let's grab this comment.
So,
can I just say one thing, Larry?
Yeah,
Dr. Bradley and Pastor Hobbs.
So the comment is
let's grab this comment and we'll get you on the other side.
okay. It says, "What's Dr. Bradley and Ellison's thoughts on the 3 city councilors, Baker, Flynn, and Michael, for changing the Faneuil Hall name change?"
Well, see, again, it's symbolism. We changed Nubian Square from Dudley to Nubian Square, and yet the blight down there is still there, right? I'm not saying that doesn't have meaning, but if we're not changing the situation down there, right? Have you been down there?
It's window dressing,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, when you can go down there and buy any type of ice you want, right, and you can see the behavior that's going on down there, what are we honoring?
Well, so one of the things I hear you, I got it, and I will argue that name change is an immediate, or I would call a revolutionary change. Mind change is an evolutionary change. So, so it's entirely different. So that's my first hit. My second hit, as it relates to Quincy Market, that will apply. But I would say that it would be a profound education if you had a plaque that's outlining the history of Quincy Market and how it was used to return slaves back to slavery.
Right. I don't disagree with that, but here's the issue with that as well, is that most of the kids, if you sent from Boston Public School, wouldn't be able to read the plaque, right? Okay. And
you did.
Right. And then,
Okay.
And then if they did, wouldn't understand what you were talking about, right? Because it's not taught in the school. They wouldn't make the connection.
I got you.
Right?
I got you. But that speaks volume by the lack of black history in the school.
It's just like when I talk to young people today, and like I said the other day, I was from work. I'm over in South Boston. And immediately when I go over, the impact of me on, wow, I could not even walk through these streets. And these kids can walk into any school in the city without any complications. And they don't understand the value of what other folks had to do to try to get to school, to get an education.
Well, I heard the name change, but I think that we need to be also educated on why we're changing those names.
Exactly. And what is the name change gonna and what is the new name gonna be? And are there gonna be any black businesses down there?
Well, that's
I mean, because changing the name don't mean nothing. They changed Nubian Square. I mean, they changed Dudley to Nubian, and it's the same old.
But
actually, it's getting
about.
worse. And from all that building that's going down over there, who gonna be able to live down there?
Well, but see, this is my point: is that we have to, because we have limited resources, right?
And to me, it's funny. There's a courthouse and a police station right there.
Yes.
But right next to that police station, they tore down the parking garage. They're building high-end condominiums. So again,
Are they?
yes. That garage that was there, that used to be next to, they're pulling. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't go. If
I
you
believe
go down,
Cruz is doing.
Yeah, if you go down to North Station inside there, the Haymarket Square, it's nice in there. They've got a food court in there. It's real. I didn't even know I had a meeting down there with some folks. Yes, but you look around, you're the only one in there, right?
Yeah.
Faneuil Hall.
Right, but I can say at least Soleil has a spot down there in the public market. So
they do.
Yeah,
okay.
because they're closed in Nubian Square. We don't know what's going on.
Oh, so they're not even operating in there anymore.
No, I think they're doing their cooking in there though, and then they're taking it down to the public market.
Right, and but that's nothing has really survived down there because people like you and I, Dr. Bradley is not going to take his family down there. If he does, they're never coming back. Just like down at Mass and Cass, right? I would not take my family down there. It could have a 5-star diner down there. I don't want to look out the window and see that. I don't want to be accosted, so they're not going to survive. Let's grab this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the roundtable with Dr. Bradley, Larry Ellison, and Sister Priscilla is in the house. People Power is in the house.
Okay, how's everybody doing?
Brother Siddiqui, how you doing, brother?
Oh,
You talk about Dudley / Nubian Square.
Yep, talk them up.
Look here, let me just say this.
Okay, go ahead.
That
When he says that, we're in trouble.
Situation.
What's that?
It's more than just a name change. Now, I don't know. When I hear you talking, I don't know what you're observing. Now, let me just say this: that.
Let's back up for a second, though. When you say you don't know what I'm observing, explain.
Let me get into it.
Okay.
Okay, now, the Black Community Information Center, we want to open up a health clinic in Nubian Square.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
At the location that we're considering, they're saying, well, you know, we're concerned that the addicts would come around, so the bottom line is that they said we need to see an improvement in the environment here. And so let me just say this. Since early April, 6 and 7 days of the week, I'm there 2 and 3 times a day in my car. And I had met with the previous captain at B2.
Captain Hussein, great guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, Captain Hassan is there in charge now. An agreement was reached that if I call 911, if I see an issue, that they'll dispatch somebody, not being aggressive. They would just come and, in fact, turn on the blue light and send a message. Now, let me just say this to you. If you go down there right now, but you know right there where the buses come out with the convenience store and the liquor store, you won't find them folks hanging out there.
I'm not sure what window you're looking out of. Go ahead.
The captain just came out with a report about the decrease in crime in the area. And let me be very clear that in terms of the numbers there, they want you to think that everybody there is an addict. Look, 20% of them folks there are addicts. The other 80% are hustlers. So let me just say this. If you go through there now, it's real, because I think about Dr. Bradley. You know, I'm thinking to myself, if I had finished my doctorate, I could have done my dissertation on those folks in that area in terms of they are a community, and right now they are unsettled because they're not sure where they can congregate.
So,
I can tell you right now, you can go through there right now.
This is
and let me just say this.
Siddiqui, no. I have to interrupt you, my brother, and respectfully so.
I'm just saying we need to stop downgrading our community.
We're not down. We also have to be realistic. Siddiqui, let me finish. I've let you, Siddiqui. I've had Siddiqui. You've had Siddiqui. Can we turn it down, Siddiqui?
We can sing together, but we can't all talk together.
Exactly, Siddiqui. I've let you say what you had to say, and I'm gonna.
I just don't know what you're observing.
Okay, because I'm gonna. This is what I'm saying to you. Okay, I was down there for over a month every day in the bowling building down there in my official capacity, coordinating with transportation to get our children home. I can't even get out of my cruiser, and I can't without someone wanting to sell me something, cigarettes, sex, whatever, drugs, and they don't know I'm a policeman, and I sit there and I watch, and I'm saying, okay, so here's what I'm going to challenge for
How
you.
long ago was that?
This week. So no, Siddiqui, exactly. That's what I was getting ready to make the offer to you. I would be willing to pick any day. You come and we're going to sit in my car, my unmarked car that they don't know is a police car. We're going to sit there and we're going to see exactly what I'm talking about, because I think sometimes you don't see things as a trained eye that I see that might seem normal to you, the average person.
That's an insult.
It's not an insult, because you're claiming, because you're saying, Siddiqui, you're telling me that I don't see
the area was improving if it wasn't.
Siddiqui, I'm not sure what.
Talk to Captain Hassan.
You know what's funny? I was down there recently, and to that point, and I said I took a picture of the guys out there and the folks pulling up selling the cigarettes, and I sent that picture to Captain Hussein. And he said, "Yeah, we're working on it." He says, "But it's almost like it's like trying to put your finger in the dike and stop the water, because the folks down there come down there to buy these products, so they have an audience that comes down there every day. The MBTA, I watch their officers. There's a group of them that come over there.
I don't believe what I'm hearing.
You can't.
I was down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, day before yesterday.
8 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody out." 8 o'clock in the morning, ain't nobody out.
I don't understand it. I'm there 3 times a day, every day.
When's the last time you were down there at 2:30, 3 o'clock in there? I go down there at 2:30, and I'm there until 7 o'clock.
I'm there morning, afternoon, and evening. I was there last night at 9 o'clock.
Okay,
going through there. So there was a couple of people out there, but they're not hanging out there.
So why don't we just get a situation where we can go down?
Absolutely, we're going to go together. Exactly.
Yeah. I haven't been down there. I don't know.
I'm going to take you down there, and it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind, and you're going to say, "Well, I hope there's an eyeglass place down there, so we get Siddiqui a new pair."
But you act like I don't come to this community except.
Siddiqui, I don't know if you're going by there at 90 miles an hour and everything is a blur.
I understand you're a police officer, but look, I know. Look here, I'm one of them down there now in terms of my mindset. I know how they think.
Okay.
I heard you talking about the whole thing about the brothers who come into the area that got the ankle bracelets on. During the summer, there was a few brothers that was there with shorts on, like they were trying to show off. They ain't hanging out there no more. They're not hanging out there no more because there's a different degree in terms of folks who are hanging out there. So I challenge anybody to come down there 3 times a day, every day, and to say things are not improving.
I think it's going to take time, and I think we have to work together.
But we have to acknowledge that the problem exists, and I think that's where Siddiqui is in real serious denial that this problem exists.
Everything else.
So you're saying they don't sell cigarettes down there anymore? I can't get in my car right now and go down. Siddiqui, I can't. Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Down there, who's an elder brother, he stands up there and he leans against the fence, trying to act like he's just an observer. And what it is, somebody will pull up and he'll go over to their car. But they're not out there in the numbers they were before. Captain Hassan, he just put out a thing about how crime is down in the area.
Siddiqui, we can always make the numbers work the way we want to, right? because there's not the enforcement because they don't want it enforced. It's a low level. It doesn't get the attention that it deserves down there. You go down there. I'm sitting there looking out the bowling building window. I'm on the transportation there on the side, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm watching what's taking place in real time. I'm watching people who are not getting on the bus. They're just sitting there, they're drinking, they're doing all this stuff, and right in front, I'm saying to myself, this should not be happening. Now, kids are walking through there.
I'm out the bowling building. I'm out my car in the parking lot. I'm out there with them people.
I'm where I'm supposed to be because
I would
I'm working.
not be putting this type of information out there if it was not legit in terms of what. Because, like I said before, in fact, let me just say this to you: that the folks who are considering putting a health clinic at their location, they have notified me recently and said they've noticed a significant improvement in the situation down at the square, so that they're willing to consider our being able to set the clinic there.
Siddiqui, that's just paramount to be saying that I can go down to Mass and Cass and what I'm seeing is not what I'm seeing, right? And that now they move these people out there. I could say today that it has improved 100% down there, right?
No, I'm saying that there's significant improvement.
I'm not saying that maybe there is some, but
location we want to have the clinic. They're the ones that said we're skeptical about your wanting to be here.
Siddiqui, I appreciate your optimism, but I deal in reality.
Noticed a significant improvement in the square,
Thank you.
They're welcome now to consider.
Well, Siddiqui, let me know when you're available next week. At 8:00 in the morning, you ain't gonna see pretty much because you spoke. Okay, so let me know when you're down. Let me know. Call me. You got my number. Call me when you're down there. I'll meet you down there, and I'll point out the things that you're not seeing. Okay. All right, because it's that you're not seeing. Exactly.
Larry, you know I respect you.
Same here, but I can't be in this denial with you, Siddiqui. I can't.
I know what the deal is.
I do too.
But not sitting in the window of the bowling building. You got to be out there.
Okay, if I can see what I can see from the building and walking into there, I have to. Okay. All right, we have a date. You let me know. You let me know.
Actually, I want to come. I want to come out there.
Absolutely.
As well. I want to be.
Let me know when you're available.
I haven't been there.
Let me know you're available, and you'll start smoking because you can get anything you want, Newport's, drug, whatever you want.
No, not after that whipping my daddy gave me. I don't think I'm gonna be smoking anything.
You go down there, you be like, wait a minute, is this the same place Siddiqui talking about? Well, all this improvement? Because this is not improvement. It's not, and that's the reality. I'm not saying that they're not working on it, trying to.
Excuse me.
The cruiser over there with the lights on there on this side. If the cruiser moves around down there, that's why.
Why don't they get out the cars? Why they gotta sit in the cruiser? What's that help?
They don't want the enforcement. One person. What are you gonna do?
I've been critical of the police in the past about shootings, but I've been praising B2 and look here. Sometimes, based on the plan that I asked them to implement, they have a cruiser at a location without my request.
Okay.
I can guarantee you right now, Dr. Bradley, my old friend, you can go right now where the buses come out, where the liquor store is and the convenience store. You ain't gonna find that crew hanging out there. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
When you leave that station, go right on down there, and you are not gonna find 15 or 20 folks hanging out. What it is right now, they're unsettled and they're trying to figure out, because addressing what Larry's saying is that he's correct when his whole thing, they'll move to the other side. Right now, they don't know where to go because of the fact sometimes there's a cruiser on both sides.
Right.
The light flash.
It's not deterring it. We know. I'm just being honest. We're not saying that we're not trying, but we're not doing anything to address it in a way that is making a difference.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we got to do what. Like I said before, we want that health clinic.
Yeah,
and folks were saying the only way we should consider our being able to do clinic there is that things have to improve. They contacted me. They want me to do a presentation to their board now because of the fact that things have improved significantly. They said they were concerned there were a lot of female employees and whatnot. And they're saying, hey,
all right, Siddiqui. So Siddiqui, we have it. Okay, so I don't want to belabor this because I know Priscilla's. I want to get to her. So we have a date. You let me know. We'll pick up Dr. Bradley. Yeah. We'll come down there and then we'll revisit this.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be going over there in the next hour.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Matter of fact, what we can maybe someday is do a live broadcast.
Well, I was going to say that. Maybe we can do a live broadcast from there and just do it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Go right into the community and just
all right. Thank you, Siddiqui. Let's take this. All right. Let's take this call. I love that brother.
That brother's been working for a long time.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Peace. Good morning. It's Jamal. I just want to, do some enlightenment here because, Larry and I, we share the same perspective. And, I am down Dudley a bunch. Okay. As y'all know, my good brother Lenny and his wife Clarissa from Frugal Bookstore. The day as well. Sometimes 7 and 8 in the morning during the week. Weekends, whatever, I always see people out there. People are out there in the parking lot. People are out on the other side as well, by the convenience store, by the Citizens Bank, and the ATM, all through Dudley, where Dunkin' Donuts is, and the Chinese restaurant. I mean, they've taken over in front of what used to be the Rent-A Center. Right. And then also, too, I just want to say, because like Siddiqui just got a little offended, said it was an insult because you're almost like not taking his observational skills into account, and he's a professional clinician. He knows what he sees and all this. I just want to say this is why this type of stuff is dangerous. Let's listen to what we just heard. Siddiqui just told you that 20% of the people out there are addicts and then 80% are hustlers. That just don't make no mathematical sense.
Right.
Let me break this down for you. If you go down to Dudley and you see 100 people in the parking lot and in front of the Rent-A Center and in front of the little block there where the bookstore is, 100 people, that would mean that 80 of those people are hustlers and 20 of them are addicts. I would submit that the numbers are skewed in the other direction.
I would agree.
And in fact, if there's 100 people out there, I think a more accurate number would probably be like 75% of them are actively engaged in some illicit activity dealing with some form of addiction. There's really probably about 5 or 10 hustlers out there.
Right.
A couple of them who are selling cigarettes, a couple of them who are selling dope, a couple of them who are pimping, and then you just got the looky-loos and the hanger-outers, and they're just hanging out there or whatever. But no, by no means is it no 80-20, and it's 80% hustlers and 20% addicts. And once again, you entertaining it like you need to take a ride or whatever and take him out on a special trip. The fact that you entertain that, anybody who's gone down Dudley, Nubian, whatever you want to call it, knows that that narrative that we just got is just simply not factual.
Well, no, and let me tell you why I said, because you know what? I always give people an opportunity to prove their case, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and say to you that, okay, I believe that, or you're going to believe me, or your lying eyes. I see this every day. I am down there every day. I'm not down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and most of those people aren't down there at 8 o'clock in the morning because
they are too. Because if you know anything about heroin addiction, heroin dope fiends wake up very early. Yeah. They start in the morning with a Jones. So they be out there 7 and 8 in the morning too.
Yeah. No, it's
they be out there when Joe's opens for breakfast.
Right.
They are already out there.
Right. No.
When Lenny comes to do his stuff before he even opens, when he's there at 7 and 8 in the morning, one of the first things he often has to do is clean pee and poo off of his doorstep.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Right, Jamal, stand by for a second. I want to grab this other call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the round table.
Just have a question about
Thank you.
the previous question about Faneuil Hall.
About what?
Faneuil Hall changed. Did they change the Faneuil Hall?
What's that?
Changing the name of Faneuil Hall.
Yep.
My question is, economically speaking, how is that going to affect people from outside the country and the world, for that matter, when they go to the famous Faneuil Hall and see that the name has been changed? Would that economically make a downturn?
Listen, the most I see black people down at Faneuil Hall is when them brothers are down there doing their little dance down there, that group that's down there from time to time. That's the most I ever see that many black people at Faneuil Hall at one time. So it's not even something that I'm concerned about with the name change, honestly, because of the behavior has not changed, right? And that, like the same thing with Nubian Square. I can't take that argument that it's better down there when I'm seeing it in reality, in real time, how bad it is down there.
Well, again, Larry, not to cut you off, I think a part of this would be, how do we educate our people on what that event was used for, Faneuil Hall? How do we educate our people on why we changed our Dudley to Nubian? Well, I think we're missing the message
here's the point,
as well.
because I want to give Priscilla a few minutes. Yeah. We're talking about the election. Is that when I talked about limited resources, right? That if you're going to change something that might be equate black people right now, more people pass through Dudley, Nubian Square than pass through Faneuil Hall. So that would be a better source of, if you're going to spend any time on focusing on trying to get people educated on why it doesn't help our community when you drive down there to buy your Newports and whatever else you're buying down there, it's not helping our community. That would be a better resource right now, time-wise, because we don't have a lot of resources, than to say, changing the name down to Faneuil Hall. Now that it's changed, how many black businesses have opened up down there? Not a one.
But the thing is that when it was Dudley, was this a source of a place where people would congregate to get all this stuff?
Dr. Bradley, it's been that way when I used to be in Area B too. Yeah. That was called the Dudley Triangle.
Okay.
There was more drugs and stuff that has not changed. It has unfortunately been a problem for years, for decades. I mean, I wasn't a drug unit. We made more drug arrests in that triangle, as they called it, than it. But Dicko, stand by, because I know Priscilla, I don't want the time to get away from us. She's here. She want to talk about this election that most people aren't even paying attention to. People Power with Priscilla is in the house.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. Good morning, Dicko. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I just want to let people know that this Tuesday, November 7th, there is an election, and it's a municipal election. And we need to be really careful. We need to go out and vote, period. End the conversation. There's no reason why we cannot get up and go out and vote. We see the city councilors it look like it's getting ready to change again. And we already know that we are going to get another new at-large city councilor. We are losing Mike Flaherty and Frank Baker. Okay, they are definitely gone. They're definitely out. Their time has finally come where, Frank feels like it's time for him to go. He could have left 5 or 6 years ago. I would have been happy. However, same thing with Mike Flaherty. He's had double time as a city councilor at large. So there's definitely going to be some new breed coming in. But people, I don't know how to tell you how important it is that we vote. How important, even if you don't like any of the candidates, just go to the polls and sign your name so that you can be counted. Because the only time your vote don't count is when you don't cast it. And today I have to get up and go because we're going to be doing some door knocking and getting people to pledge to come to the polls on
so Priscilla,
Tuesday.
So there was early voting this past week, right? What does that look like? Because people had a chance to vote early up until, was it the 27th, I believe?
I think they had up until Friday.
Okay,
the second.
Okay, the second.
And so, to be honest, I don't know, but I'm just hoping and praying that if we don't wake up and realize how important our vote is, then we're just
Other people
lost.
have
It's
realized
not
that
everything. It's not every.
But
It's
here's
not the end all, the be all.
The sad part to what you're saying, the commentary, is that other people have realized how important our vote is. That's why they're taking it away.
Exactly, and that's why they try to take advantage of us. That's why you only see them during election time.
Yeah.
But not everybody is like that. So, go ahead.
You know, one of our problems that we got to face is
one of many. But
one of many. Our chances for voting are increasing. There's always an election. There's no shortage of candidates, so we have many opportunities to vote. But what we have not improved is the quality of who we could be voting for.
Amen.
Wow.
The actual pool.
That's because people jump up one day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna run for office."
But we don't say no, you're not qualified. As Jamal's point is very valid. We don't say, listen, your time isn't come. You need to be informed and educated on the subject matter. When people are talking about things they don't know or they don't have solutions, they just have throwaway lines that they put out there.
Yeah, but that's why we need another black political task force. For real. Because back in the day when they had, and I wasn't a part of it, but from what I understand, that they were able to help raise money for candidates. They were able to campaign for candidates that they wanted. Because now people are just coming from everywhere, anywhere. Oh, I'm gonna run. I got the backing of the mayor. I got the backing of this one, and they ain't doing jack for us.
So
they're not required to.
I'm gonna that narrative. Okay, they got the backing of the mayor. They got the backing of the. That gives me more confidence than these who do not have backing or claim to have, these grandiose qualifications that, it's really like George Santos. They're really lying and exaggerating. So I'm less concerned about, because by the time the mayor, like her or don't like her, by the time the mayor endorses a candidate, at least that candidate has been vetted through, like that candidate, got money in the bank, they got some support, what have you. Our problem for our community is that when we're trying to say we don't like what's going on out there, we need to push forward our champion, right? But then our champions are not champs, they're chumps. And they're lying, they're doing a lot of this crazy stuff. And so, once again, much like police, or much like happened when trying to find a replacement for who's going to run OPAC, what you find is that the people who could do it don't want to do it. Because either the profession itself, I don't want to be a cop, don't want to be a politician, or the really successful ones who are masters of their field, they're out there mastering their fields, so it's like, why would I leave as a successful lawyer to come and work at this OPAT thankless job? Or if I'm a young person who could go into tech and not get shot at, why would I want to become a cop when I could go make $150,000 a year if I learn coding? Right? So these are the types of options that are happening where a lot of these positions are becoming obsolete because kids don't want to now be an astronaut, be a cowboy, be a fire person. So we got to figure this out, because the ones who are raising their hand and saying, ooh, I'll do it, me, is usually the crazy ones.
So I put this out to everybody's listening. What's the, as you just said, you gave me all the reasons not to run. What's the incentive to run?
Why should I do this?
As a person who ran, I can't give you one, brother. It's depressing. I mean, it's not something that that I have a desire to participate in. And the last time that I did, it's because I felt like our community was just in such a state with such poor representation that everybody loved and all that type of thing. I felt as though I had to present an alternative. What I did was, in presenting that alternative, what I realized, my scientific experiment was a great success. I realized the people don't want that alternative.
There you go. Right. And
all right, great. So you get what you want, what you deserve, and people are going for the photo ops and the galas and the black tie affairs and the cruises and have a little cute little dance and all that. They don't want the real Willy Bobo. They want, they want the goofy oofy.
That's it. You get the government you deserve. Dr. Bradley, what's the academia approach to this? Because help us out here.
Well, I think the academia approach is going to be from a historical perspective. Is that every time America is trying to move forward, again, on the bicultural level, there's a pushback to show the black community that is not worthy. And by destroying itself within, they're successful at doing that.
But do we have to go back to where it's so dire that seems to be the only time that we rally to the cause, is when we all really are feeling it, and we're under the impression we see all the warning signs there with the Trump, the Republican, all this craziness that's going on in the world. Like I said earlier, folks haven't learned that Donald Trump, if he was elected president again, he's going to be like the prime minister in Israel, where he's going to be so focused on trying to get back at people, he's taking his eye off the ball, and these folks are going to take advantage of that, and they're not just going to attack his enemies if they come here, they're going to get all of us.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Larry, we have to see, in order for us to move in any type of uniformity, we have to have an individual. It has to have an individual impact on us, and we have to see that similarity. We have to see it. A good example of that would be everybody moving forward for a black president. We all saw the historical perspective, and it came out of nowhere. Everybody saw that we need to get rid of this dude called DT, the Orange Man. Then everybody started. Unfortunately, we have to be in a situation where we can see it. We're not there now. We're not there. We are so divided, even within ourselves. We're divided.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes. Priscilla, I'll give you another word on.
The only thing I'm going to say is please get out and vote. And
this is not
we don't even have enough time to go into some different things, but we definitely need to be able to get out and vote. It's important, and that's all I can say.
It sounds like this is a recorded broadcast. It's not, because we say this all the time and we never yield any results of people going out and voting. But it is something that is dire. But I still don't think people get it. I still don't think they see the sense of urgency of what we really need.
But they complain about how their streets are turned into different lanes and how their garbage don't get picked up. But it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than your garbage not being picked up on time.
Yeah.
You look at the conditions of our community. They're closing all these schools. Why are they closing all these schools? Maybe they're closing all these schools because the 47,000 people that they budgeting for, they're not coming to school. Some of these things that are going on is just like,
It's going on that way. Exactly. My sister, because it's calculated.
Jamal, you got 30 seconds.
They're hoping that we don't go to school.
I'm proposing a new lane in Boston. It's called a stay in your.
All right.
Stay in your lane.
Hey, listen, I'm going to call you. We're going to have this meeting. We're going to be broadcasting live from Dudley/Nubian Square, and we're going to see all the improvements that have taken place down there. And I'm going to get me a new pair of glasses. I'm going to trade my reading glasses in for some real ones because I must be missing it. And
for all your listeners, if you come down to that, for all your listeners, I will provide the first 20 listeners free cigarettes.
Well, listen, on the real side, I think we can if we can do something in one of the buildings down there, or however they do it. When you do a live broadcast, I'm not sophisticated with this stuff, but I do think it's worthwhile bringing this to the community, bringing this conversation to the community.
We talked to my guy at the bookstore. He would go for that for sure.
All right, well, set it up, Jamal. We'll come down and we'll broadcast live. Like I said, we won't be short on cigarettes. I
can tell you one thing. I mean, I'm looking forward to the grits and eggs. I mean, isn't there a place
Chicken and waffles? They closed because of this stuff. They can't operate down there. Okay. Folks, we got to run. So MAMLEO members, today is a general membership meeting at 12 noon at MAMLEO. Also, will be provided the Zoom link. So tune in to that at 12 o'clock today. It's our general membership. Rhodes, thank you, sir. Dicker, thank you, folks. We have got to go. The clock has beat us. It's been an enlightening conversation, boy. It gets live around here, and we'll be live from Nubian Square soon.
All right, and be blessed. Be blessed.
All right.
Peace.
Woo.